Welcome to the magical world for you kids. I am your friend and guide. Before we start tonight's story, imagine a place full of colors and laughter, where surprises hide in every corner. Now, let's get comfy and ready to drift into a beautifully dreamy adventure. Red shoes. Good evening, dear children. I am your sister Bella. Let's listen to stories and go to bed together today. Are you all snuggled up in your cozy beds? With your favorite stuffed animals by your side? I hope you're ready for a magical bedtime adventure. Tonight, I have a special story to share with you. It's about a little girl named Karen and her enchanting red shoes. Now close your eyes and imagine a small village nestled in the countryside. The houses have thatched roofs, and colorful flowers bloom in every garden. Can you see it? In this charming village lived Karen, a sweet little girl with golden curls and bright blue eyes. Karen loved to dance and twirl around, but she didn't have any pretty shoes to wear. You see, her family didn't have much money, so she had to make do with old wooden clogs that were too big for her tiny feet. But Karen never complained. She was always cheerful and kind to everyone she met. One day, as Karen was skipping down the cobblestone street, she saw a crowd gathering around a fancy carriage. What's happening? She wondered, standing on her tiptoes to get a better look. To her surprise, she saw a beautiful princess step out of the carriage. The princess was wearing the most amazing pair of red shoes Karen had ever seen. Oh, how lovely! Karen exclaimed, her eyes wide with wonder. The red shoes sparkled in the sunlight, and they seemed to dance all on their own. Karen couldn't take her eyes off them. She dreamed of having a pair just like that. Imagining how wonderful it would feel to dance in such beautiful shoes. As the princess walked by, she noticed Karen staring at her shoes. With a kind smile, she bent down and said, "Hello there. Little one, do you like my shoes?" Karen nodded shyly, her cheeks turning as the princess's shoes The princess chuckled and patted Karen's head before continuing on her way. From that moment on, Karen couldn't stop thinking about those magical red shoes. She would close her eyes at night and dream of twirling and leaping in a pair of her very own. One day, she whispered to herself, "I'll have red shoes too." Little did Karen know that her wish was about to come true in the most unexpected way. But remember, dear children, sometimes the things we wish for aren't always what they seem. Are you ready to hear what happens next? Snuggle up tight, and let's continue our adventure with Karen and the mysterious red shoes. Now, let's continue our story about Karen and her dream of owning a pair of beautiful red shoes. One sunny morning, Karen woke up to the sound of birds chirping outside her window. She stretched and yawned, excited for the day ahead. Today was a very special day. It was the day of her adoption. You see, Karen had lost her parents when she was very young, and she had been living with a kind old woman who took care of many orphan children. As Karen got dressed in her best clothes, which were still quite worn and patched, she couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and nervousness. What would her new family be like? Would they be kind? Would they love her? These questions swirled in her mind as she made her way downstairs. The old woman who had been caring for Karen greeted her with a warm hug. "Are you ready, my dear?" she asked, smoothing Karen's golden curls. Karen nodded bravely, even though her heart was fluttering like a little bird. Together, they walked to the village square where they were to meet Karen's new family. As they dressed couple standing near the fountain. The woman had a gentle smile, and the man's eyes twinkled kindly. Karen felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe this would be the loving family she had always dreamed of. As the old woman introduced Karen to her new parents, something caught the little girl's eye. In a nearby shop window, she saw the most beautiful pair of red shoes she had ever seen. They weren't as fancy as the princess's shoes, but to Karen, they were perfect. She couldn't take her eyes off them, even as her new mother bent down to greet her. "Hello, Karen," the woman said softly. "We're so happy to meet you. Would you like to come home with us?" Karen nodded shyly, still distracted by the red shoes in the window. Her new mother noticed Karen's gaze and followed it to the shop window. With a smile, she asked, "Do you like those shoes, dear?" Before Karen could answer, her new father chuckled and said, "Why don't we buy them for you as a welcome gift?" Karen's eyes widened with disbelief and joy. Could it be true? Was she really going to have her very own pair of red shoes? The kind couple led Karen into the shop, where the shoemaker carefully fitted the red shoes onto her feet. They were a perfect fit, as if they had been made just for her. Karen whirled around the shop, heart soaring with happiness. She had never owned anything so beautiful in her life. As they left the shop, Karen's new mother said, "Now, Karen, these shoes are very special. You must promise to take good care of them and only wear them for special occasions." Karen nodded solemnly, promising to treasure her new red shoes. But that night, in her new home, Karen couldn't stop admiring her red shoes. She placed them carefully by her bedside, where she could see them as soon as she woke up. As she drifted off to sleep, she dreamed of dancing and twirling in her beautiful red shoes. Little did Karen know that these shoes were more than just a pretty pair of footwear. They held a magic of their own. A magic that would soon change her life in ways she could never have imagined. But for now, Karen slept peacefully, excited for the new life that awaited her with her loving new family and her precious red shoes. Are you curious to know what happens next, dear children? Well, get comfy in your beds, because our story is about to take an unexpected turn. As the days passed, Karen settled into her new life with her adoptive parents. They were kind and loving, just as she had hoped. They gave her pretty dresses to wear and delicious food to eat. But most of all, they gave her lots of hugs and kisses, making her feel truly loved for the first time in her life. Despite all the wonderful changes in her life, Karen couldn't stop thinking about her red shoes. She longed to wear them all the time, not just for special occasions as her mother had instructed. Every night, she would take them out of their box, polish them until they shone, and dream of dancing in them. One Sunday morning, as the family was getting ready for church, Karen decided to wear her red shoes. Her mother frowned when she saw them. "Karen, dear," she said gently, "those shoes are not appropriate for church." "Please wear black shoes instead." Karen's heart sank, but she obediently changed into her plain black shoes. As they walked to church, she couldn't help but feel disappointed. She barely listened to the sermon, her mind filled with thoughts of her beautiful red shoes sitting at home. As they were leaving the church, Karen noticed an old woman with a cane standing near the entrance. The woman's eyes seemed to twinkle mysteriously as she looked at Karen. "What pretty shoes you have," the old woman said, pointing at Karen's feet with her cane. Karen looked down, confused. She was wearing her plain black shoes, not her red ones. But as she looked, she gasped in surprise. Her feet were clad in her beautiful red shoes. How did that happen? She hadn't put them on. Before Karen could say anything, the old woman disappeared into the crowd. Karen's mother, noticing her daughter's shocked expression, asked, "What's wrong, dear?" But when Karen tried to explain about the red shoes, her mother just looked confused. "What are you talking about, Karen? You're wearing your black shoes, just as I asked." Karen blinked, and sure enough, feet were once again in the plain black shoes. Had she imagined the whole thing? She shook her head, trying to clear her thoughts. Maybe she had just been daydreaming about her red shoes again. That night, as Karen got ready for bed, she took out her red shoes to admire them as usual. But as she held them, she felt a strange tingling sensation in her fingers. The shoes seemed to glow faintly in the dim light of her bedroom. Karen rubbed her eyes, thinking she must be very tired, but the glow remained. Curious, a little scared, Karen slipped the shoes onto her feet. Immediately, she felt a surge of energy course through her body. Her feet began to move on their own, and before she knew it, she was dancing around her room. Karen tried to stop, but her feet wouldn't listen. They kept moving, faster and faster, twirling and leaping as if they had a mind of their own. Karen danced out of her room, down the stairs, and out the front door into the cool night air. She wanted to call out to her parents for help, but she was breathless from the non-stop dancing. The red shoes carried her down the street, through the village square, and towards the dark forest at the edge of town. As she danced, Karen began to cry. She was scared and didn't know how to stop. The shoes seemed to have a will of their own, and they were taking her farther and farther from home. She thought of her new parents, probably still sleeping peacefully, unaware that their daughter was being whisked away by a pair of magical dancing shoes. Just when Karen thought she couldn't dance another step, she saw a familiar figure ahead. It was the old woman from the church. The woman stood in Karen's path, her eyes glowing as brightly as the red shoes. As Karen advanced closer, the old woman raised her cane and tapped it on the ground 3 times. Suddenly, Karen's feet stopped moving. She collapsed to the ground, exhausted and trembling. The old woman bent down and looked into Karen's tear-filled eyes. "My child," she said in a voice that sounded like rustling leaves, "you have much to learn about the power of good wishes and the danger of vanity. These shoes will teach you an important lesson. With that, the old woman vanished into the shadows of the forest, leaving Karen alone in the dark night, feet still trapped in the glowing red shoes. What would happen to Karen now? How would she get home? And most importantly, how would she stop the magical red shoes from making her dance again? Oh, dear children, our story has taken quite a turn. Shall we find out what happens next to poor Karen and her enchanted red shoes? Karen sat on the cold ground, her heart pounding and her legs aching from the endless dancing. She felt scared, confused, and terribly alone. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she thought about her warm bed at home and her loving parents, who must be worried sick by now. "Oh, what have I done?" Karen whispered to herself, her voice trembling. She looked down at the red shoes, which still glowed faintly in the darkness. They seemed so beautiful, yet now they filled her with dread. She remembered how badly she had wanted them, how she had dreamed of dancing in them. But now, all she wanted was to take them off and run home. Karen tried to untie the laces, but her fingers fumbled uselessly. The shoes seemed to tighten around her feet, refusing to budge. A wave of panic washed over her. What if she could never take them off? What if she was doomed to dance forever? As these frightening thoughts swirled in her mind, Karen heard a soft rustling in the bushes nearby. Her heart leapt into her throat. Was it a wild animal? Or perhaps the mysterious old woman returning? But to her surprise and relief, a small rabbit hopped out into the moonlight. The rabbit's nose twitched as it looked at Karen with curious eyes. Despite her fear and exhaustion, Karen couldn't help but smile at the cute little creature. "Hello there," she said softly, not wanting to scare it away. "I don't suppose you know how to get these shoes off, do you?" The rabbit, of course, didn't answer, but it did hop closer to Karen. As it neared her feet, the red shoes began to glow more brightly. The rabbit startled and jumped back, its ears twitching nervously. Karen felt a pain of sadness. Even this innocent little animal seemed afraid of her enchanted shoes. She thought of how she had ignored her mother's wishes and worn the shoes to church, how she had been so focused on having the prettiest shoes that she hadn't appreciated all the other wonderful things in her life. "I'm sorry," Karen whispered. Though she wasn't sure if she was talking to the rabbit, her parents, or herself. "I've been so silly. These shoes aren't worth all this trouble. I just want to go home." As if in response to her words, the rabbit hopped even closer. This time, it didn't seem frightened by the glowing shoes. Instead, it nuzzled Karen's hand gently, as if trying to comfort her. Karen felt a warmth spread through her chest. Touched by the small animal's kindness, for a moment, Karen forgot about her predicament. She stroked the rabbit's soft fur, finding comfort in its presence. "Thank you, little one," she said, managing a small smile. It's nice not to be alone out here. As she sat there, petting the rabbit and listening to the night sounds of the forest, Karen began to think about all the things she was grateful for. She thought about her new parents and how they had chosen her, given her a home, and showered her with love. She remembered the old woman who had cared for her in the orphanage, always making sure she had enough to eat and when times were tough. Karen realized that she had been so focused on having pretty things that she had forgotten to appreciate the truly important things in life. The love of her family, the kindness of others, and the beauty of the world around her were all far more precious than any pair of shoes. No matter how magical they might be. As these thoughts filled her mind, Karen felt something strange happening to her feet. The tight grip of the red shoes seemed to be loosening. She looked down in amazement to see that the glow was fading, and the shoes no longer felt like they were stuck to her feet. With trembling hands, Karen reached down and untied the laces. To her immense relief, the shoes slipped off easily. She wiggled her toes in the cool grass, feeling as though a great weight had been lifted from her. The rabbit, seeming to sense that something important had happened, hopped onto Karen's lap. She hugged it gently, grateful for its companionship. "Thank you," she whispered again. Though she wasn't sure she was thanking the rabbit or some greater power that had helped her learn this important lesson. As the first light of dawn began to peek through the trees, Karen felt new determination. She knew she had to find her way home, apologize to her parents, and make things right. The journey wouldn't be easy. She was far from home, and her feet were sore from all the dancing. But Karen felt stronger now, both in body and spirit. She stood up, picked up the now ordinary-looking red shoes, and took a deep breath. "Time to go home," she said to herself, her voice steady and sure. The rabbit seemed to understand. giving her hand one last nuzzle before hopping back into the bushes. As Karen took her first steps towards home, she felt different. She was no longer the vain little girl who had been enchanted by a pair of pretty shoes. She was stronger, wiser, and more grateful for the truly important things in life. And though the path ahead was long, Karen knew that with each step, she was growing into the person she was meant to be. Oh, my dear children, can you feel the change in Karen's heart? Do you think she'll make it home safely? Let's find out in the next part of our story. As Karen made her way through the forest, the morning sun slowly rose, casting a golden light through the trees. Her feet were sore, and she was tired, but she kept walking, determined to find her way home. She clutched the red shoes in her hand, a constant reminder of the lesson she had learned. After what felt like hours of walking, Karen finally saw something familiar, the old oak tree that stood at the edge of the village. Her heart leapt with joy, and she quickened her pace, ignoring the ache in her feet. As she entered the village, Karen saw people rushing about, calling her name. Among them were her parents, looking worried, exhausted. When they spotted her, their faces lit up with relief and happiness. Karen, her mother cried, running towards her with open arms. "Oh, my darling, where have you been? We've been so worried." Karen fell into her mother's embrace, tears streaming down her face. "I'm so sorry, Mona," she sobbed. I made a big mistake." Her father joined the hug, his strong arms encircling both of them. "It doesn't matter now, sweetheart. You're safe, and that's all that counts." As they walked home, Karen told her parents everything that had happened about the magical shoes, the endless dancing, and the lesson she had learned. Her parents listened with a mix of amazement and concern. When they reached home, Karen's mother drew a warm bath for her, helping her soothe her aching feet. As Karen soaked in the tub, she felt the last of the magic's effects washing away. Later, Karen's father spoke gently. Karen, we're so glad you're safe, but we need to talk about what happened. Karen nodded, her eyes downcast. I know, Papa. I'm really sorry for disobeying you and Mama about the shoes. I was so caught up in how pretty they were that I forgot about what's really important. Her mother reached out and took Karen's hand. And what is really important, dear? Karen looked up, her eyes shining with sincerity. Family, love, and being grateful for what we have. I realized that no pair of shoes, no matter how beautiful, could ever be as precious as the love you've given me. Her parents smiled, touched by Karen's words. We're proud of you for learning such an important lesson, her father said. But we still need to decide what to do with those shoes. Karen looked at the red shoes, sitting innocently on the table. They no longer glowed or seemed magical, but she knew the power they held, I think. I think we should give them away, she said slowly. Maybe to someone who really needs shoes, not just wants them for their beauty. Her parents nodded approvingly. That's a wonderful idea, Karen, her mother said. We can take them to the orphanage tomorrow. I'm sure there's a child there who could use a nice pair of shoes. As they discussed their plan, there was a knock at the door. Karen's father went to answer it, and to everyone's surprise, he returned with the village cobbler, Mr. Hansen. I hope you don't mind me dropping by, Mr. Hansen said, his kind eyes twinkling. I heard about young Karen's adventure, and I thought I might be of help. He examined the red shoes carefully, turning them over in his weathered hands. These are no ordinary shoes, he mused. They carry a powerful magic, meant to teach a lesson to those who wear them. But now that the lesson has been learned, the magic needs to be properly dispelled. Karen and her parents listened in awe as Mr. Hansen explained that he was more than just a cobbler, he was also a guardian of magical objects in the village. He had been watching over the red shoes for years, waiting for them to find the right owner who could learn their lesson. Karen, Mr. Hansen said gently, "You've shown great wisdom in wanting to give these shoes to someone in need. But I'm afraid they're too dangerous to pass on. Instead, I propose we use their magic for a greater good." He went on to explain that the shoe's magic could be transformed into a blessing for the entire village if they were willing. Karen looked at her parents, who nodded encouragingly. "Yes," she said firmly. "I want to help make something good come from my mistake." Mr. Hansen smiled warmly. "Then let's begin." He asked Karen to place the shoes in the center of the room. Then, he instructed the family to join hands and form a circle around them. Hansen began to chant softly. The shoes started to glow once more. But this time, the light was warm and golden, filling the room with a sense of peace and joy. As the glow faded, the red shoes slowly dissolved into sparkling dust, which floated up and out the window, spreading over the village like a gentle mist. "It is done," Mr. Hansen said with a satisfied smile. The magic of the shoes will now bring small blessings to all the children of our village. A little extra luck here. A moment of unexpected joy there. And most importantly, will help them appreciate the truly valuable things in life. Karen felt a wave of relief and happiness wash over her. She had not only learned an important lesson herself, but had also helped turn something potentially dangerous into a source of good for others. That night, as her mother tucked her into bed, Karen hugged her tightly. "Thank you, Mama, for everything. I promise I'll always try to remember what's really important." Her mother kissed her forehead gently. "I know you will, my brave, wise girl. Now get some rest. Tomorrow is a new day, full of wonderful possibilities." As Karen drifted off to sleep, she felt truly content for the first time in a long while. She no longer needed magical shoes to feel special. She knew that the love of her family and the goodness in her heart were far more precious than any pair of shoes could ever be. And so, dear children, our story of Karen and the red shoes comes to a close. But the lessons learned and the magic spread will live on, reminding us all to be grateful for what we have and to always keep our hearts open to the true wonders of life. Well, my little ones, wasn't that quite an adventure? I can see your eyes are wide with wonder. Let's take a moment to think about Karen's journey together, shall we? Can you imagine how Karen felt when she first saw those beautiful red shoes? I bet your heart would skip a beat too if you saw something so pretty. Have you ever wanted something so badly that you couldn't think of anything else? It's okay if you have. We all feel that way sometimes. But oh my, when those shoes started making Karen ants and dance, weren't you a bit scared for her? I know I was. It must have been so frightening to not be able to stop moving. Have you ever felt like you control something in your life? It can be pretty scary, can't it? And how about when Karen was all alone in the dark forest, poor thing. But wasn't it nice when the little rabbit came to keep her company? Sometimes, friends can appear in the most unexpected places. Have you ever made a friend in a surprising way? Sure, you were so relieved when Karen finally made it home to her parents. Can you feel how happy and grateful she was? It's a wonderful feeling to be safe with the people who love you, isn't it? What do you think about Karen's decision to give up the shoes? That was pretty brave of her, don't you think? Have you ever had to give up something you really liked because it was the right thing to do? It's not easy, but it can make you feel good inside. And wasn't it exciting when Mr. Hansen turned the shoes magic into something good for the whole village? It just goes to show that even when we make mistakes, good things can come from them if we learn and try to make things better. Now, my dear little listeners, I have a question for you. What do you think is more important, having pretty things, or being surrounded by people who love you? Take a moment to think about it. Remember, just like Karen, you are special and wonderful just the way you are. You don't need magical shoes or fancy things to be amazing. Your kind heart and the love you share with others are what make you truly shine. So, the next time you see something shiny and new that you really want, remember Karen's story. Think about all the wonderful things you already have: your family, your friends, and all the love in your heart. Those are the true treasures in life, and who knows, maybe a little bit of that magical dust from the red shoes has floated your way, bringing you an extra sprinkle of joy and appreciation for all the good things in your life. Keep your eyes open for those little moments of magic all around you. Now, my little ones, as our story comes to an end, it's time for you to drift off to sleep, just like Karen did after her big adventure. let's get you all cozy and ready for dreamland, shall we? First, snuggle down into your bed, feeling the soft blankets around you. Take a deep breath in and then let it out slowly. Feel your body relaxing, sinking in the mattress. Close your eyes and imagine you're in a beautiful, peaceful place. Maybe it's a sunny meadow filled with flowers, or a quiet beach with gentle waves. Whatever place makes you feel calm and happy. Now, think about all the good things that happened today. Maybe you learned something new, or played with a friend, or helped someone. Smile to yourself as you remember these happy moments. As you lie there, feeling warm and safe, imagine that you're surrounded by a soft, golden light. This light is filled with love and kindness, just like the magic that spread through Karen's village. Let it wrap around you like a cozy blanket. Think about the people, your family, your friends, even your pets if you have any. Imagine sending them a little bit of this golden light, sharing your love with them as they sleep too. Now, let's take 3 more deep breaths together. With each breath, feel yourself getting more and more relaxed. Breathe in and out. Your feet and legs feel heavy and comfortable. Breathe in and out. Your tummy. Breathe in and out. Your arms and hands feel warm and still. As you continue to breathe slowly and deeply, imagine that with each breath, you're floating gently on a cloud. This cloud is taking you on a peaceful journey through the night sky. Look around in your mind's eye. You might see twinkling stars or a smiling moon. Maybe you'll spot a shooting star make a wish if you do. As your cloud floats along, you start to feel sleep by you and sleep by your. Your eyelids are getting heavy, and your thoughts are becoming quiet and peaceful. Remember, just like Karen learned, you are loved and special just the way you are. As you drift off to sleep, know that you're safe and cared for. Let your mind wander to pleasant dreams. Maybe you'll dance in magical shoes that don't make you tired. Or perhaps you'll have a tea party with talking rabbits in a moonlit forest. Whatever dreams come, enjoy the adventure. And if you wake up in the night, don't worry. Just remember the feeling of that warm, golden light surrounding you. And let it help you fall back to sleep. Rest now, my little ones. Let your body and mind relax completely. Tomorrow is a new day, full of wonderful possibilities and adventures. But for now, it's time to sleep, to dream, and to grow. May your dreams be sweet, your sleep be deep, and your heart be light. Sleep tight, and remember you are loved. Always. Hope you enjoyed our magical journey. Before you drift off to sleep, don't forget to subscribe to For You Kids to ensure you never miss a story. Good night, little ones. Sweet dreams.